Have you ever wondered how the majestic 3D deltas forming in our world are created? These awe-inspiring natural wonders aren't just a random happenstance of nature, but a complex interplay of elements. Today we're going to take a journey into the world of 3D deltas, unraveling the intricate science behind their formation. You'll even discover how you can replicate this process and create your very own 3D delta. Intriguing, isn't it? Stay tuned as we unlock the secrets behind the formation of these natural wonders. Scene script. Every grand structure has a solid foundation, and 3D deltas are no exception. Just as a skyscraper relies on a firm foundation to touch the sky, creating a 3D delta too depends on a sound base. But instead of concrete and steel, the foundation of a 3D delta is made from a substance found all around us: sediments. These tiny fragments of organic or mineral matter play a pivotal role in the formation of our 3D delta. Now, where do these sediments come from? Well, they're derived from a multitude of sources. Land erosion due to wind, water and ice, volcanic activity, and the decay of plants and animals all contribute to the creation of sediments. These sources are as diverse as the sediments themselves, resulting in a wide range of sizes, shapes, and compositions. But it's not enough for these sediments to simply exist. They must also be transported into the delta system. Here's where nature's transporters come into play: rivers, glaciers, waves, and wind. These natural forces carry sediments from their sources to the delta, often over vast distances. The process of sediment transportation is a fascinating spectacle of nature's power and precision. This transportation isn't a one-time affair. It's a continuous process that gradually builds up the delta's foundation. Over time, these sediments accumulate layer by layer, each adding to the strength and stability of the delta. This ongoing process is the heartbeat of a 3D delta's formation, ensuring its growth and development. Understanding this foundation is crucial. It's the first step in building a 3D delta. Without a solid base of sediments, our delta would be like a castle built on sand, destined to crumble. But with a sturdy foundation, we give our delta the strength to withstand the test of time. So, while it might not be as glamorous as the towering peaks or intricate waterways, the humble sediment and its journey play a vital role in the creation of a 3D delta. With a solid base, we're ready to start building our 3D delta. Now let's delve into the building blocks of a 3D delta. In the grand scheme of things, a 3D delta might seem like a complex structure, but it's actually made up of simple, everyday materials. Let's start with clay. Clay, our smallest particle, has a flat shape and tiny size which allow it to pack together tightly. It's like the glue that holds our delta together, making it resistant to erosion and shaping the delta's overall structure. Next, we have silt. Silt particles are slightly larger than clay and have a smoother texture. They fill in the gaps between the clay and help to maintain the delta's stability. Picture it as the buffer, the mediator, balancing out the clay and sand particles to create harmony within the delta. Then, we have sand. Sand is the largest particle in our delta construction. Its size and weight allow it to settle first when carried by water, forming the foundation upon which the rest of the delta is built. Think of sand as the backbone of our delta, providing the structural support for the smaller particles. Now, these materials don't exist in isolation. They're constantly interacting with each other and with water. The water in the delta system plays a vital role in transporting these materials. It carries the clay, silt, and sand from one place to another, depositing them in a way that shapes the delta's unique form. It's a dynamic, ever-changing system that's influenced by factors like the flow of water and the type of materials available. But it's not just about the physical interactions. There's also a chemical aspect to consider. Water can dissolve certain substances in the clay, silt, and sand, leading to chemical reactions that can further influence the delta's structure and stability. Understanding these interactions is crucial for the next step in our delta building journey. So, keep these building blocks in mind as we continue to explore the fascinating world of 3D deltas. Water is the architect of our 3D delta. Imagine a skilled sculptor tirelessly shaping, molding, and refining a piece of art. Now replace that sculptor with water and the art piece with our world. Water, with its tireless energy and relentless force, is the master sculptor of Earth's landscapes, the prominent one being our 3D delta. But how does water perform this feat? It's all about the balance between erosion and deposition. As water flows down a river, it erodes the riverbanks, picking up sediment along the way. When the river meets the sea or a still body of water, the water slows down, depositing this sediment. Over time, this process of erosion and deposition forms the unique shape of a delta. The influence of tides, waves, and river currents plays a crucial role in this process. Tides, with their ebb and flow, act as a conveyor, moving sediment from the river to the sea and back again. Waves, on the other hand, spread this sediment along the coastline, helping to shape the delta's edges. And then we have river currents, the main force driving erosion and deposition. Their strength and direction determine where and how much sediment is deposited, thus influencing the delta's shape. But there's more to it than just erosion and deposition. The interplay between water, sediment, and vegetation also plays a vital role. Vegetation helps to stabilize the delta, preventing it from being washed away. It also provides habitats for a variety of species, adding to the delta's biodiversity. Water's role doesn't end with shaping the delta, it also maintains it, constantly reshaping and refining it in response to changes in the environment. Whether it's a shift in the river's course, a rise in sea level, or a change in sediment supply, water adapts, ensuring the delta's survival. So you see, water is not just a passive participant, it's an active player, a skilled architect crafting and maintaining our 3D delta. Now that we've harnessed the power of water, our 3D delta is starting to take shape. Like a sculptor adding the final details, nature has its own way of perfecting a 3D delta. Indeed, the formation of a delta is not complete without the final stages that add life and complexity to this natural masterpiece. The first of these final touches is the establishment of vegetation. As the delta matures, seeds carried by the river or wind find their way to the newly formed land. These seeds sprout and grow, their roots binding the soil together. This not only strengthens the delta against erosion but also creates a rich ecosystem teeming with life. From the smallest insects to the largest mammals, the delta becomes a vibrant habitat, demonstrating the interconnectedness of all life. But the story of the delta doesn't end with nature's touch. Humans too play a role in shaping these landscapes. The fertile soils of the delta attract human settlement. From ancient times, civilizations have thrived on deltas, with their abundance of water, food, and materials for building. Yet human activity can also pose a threat to deltas. Construction, farming, and other forms of land use can disrupt the delicate balance of the ecosystem. Pollution can harm the water quality, affecting both the delta and the life it supports. Climate change and sea level rise pose additional threats, potentially drowning the delta under rising waters. Therefore, understanding and preserving deltas is crucial. By studying their formation and evolution, we can learn how to live in harmony with these landscapes, benefiting from their resources while also ensuring their survival for future generations. In this way, the story of the delta is a story of balance and interdependence. It's a story of how land, water, life, and human activity come together to create a complex, dynamic, and beautiful 3D landscape. It's a story that reminds us of our place in the natural world and our responsibility to care for it. With these final touches, our 3D delta is complete. But remember, the delta is not a static entity. It continues to evolve, shaped by the forces of nature and human activity, just as it has been for millions of years. We've journeyed through the fascinating process of 3D delta formation. Together, we've explored the science behind this natural wonder and learned how the intricate processes of nature can be replicated to build a 3D delta. We started by provoking thought, posing the question, how does nature create deltas? This led us to lay the foundation, understanding the fundamental elements required for a delta to form. We learned that deltas are born from the convergence of land and water where rivers meet the sea or a lake. Next, we delved into the building blocks of a delta, sediment. We discovered how rivers carry these tiny particles, depositing them at the river's mouth to build up the delta over time. The power of water, with its ability to shape and reshape landscapes, was our next stop. We saw how the flow of water carrying sediment and nutrients creates the dynamic, ever-changing form of a delta. Lastly, we added the final touches, showing how the interplay of water currents, wind, and vegetation can further shape a delta, making each one unique. Remember, every delta tells a unique story of the land and water that created it. We hope this journey has inspired you to appreciate these natural marvels and the science behind them. Don't forget to subscribe to Nsonation for more enlightening videos.